What's up, y'all? It's the Producer Whisper again. Hey, check this out. Happy Tuesday. I swear I was not going to drop no video today. My peripheral neuropathy is kicking my ass today. My hands, I got two pairs of gloves on. I got rubber gloves on under my compression gloves. My feet are tripping. So it's a bad day. I'm in some pain today, but no worries. I'm used to it, unfortunately. So I'm going to get through this rough spell and be back okay in a little bit. But I wasn't going to do nothing today, right? But my ass, I get up and I wanted to check my emails, So the emails were kind of cool. So then I go into the submission email. Now, unfortunately, at this time with Smash Coast, I'm the only person who is checking email. So I get in there when I can, but I'm CEO of the company, so I got to run things and get placements for people and stuff like that for the people on the team. But every time I get a chance, I go in there and I fish around and see what I could find, right? And I'm scrolling down the submissions, and I see that I get a message from someone basically saying that they work with someone that's signed with Smash Coast. They don't work with that person anymore, and they want us to delete their music out of the catalog, right? And there's actually two emails that came a couple weeks ago. A couple of days go by, they sent another email saying basically like, if I don't hear anything back from you, I'm gonna talk to my lawyer. Okay, so here we go with the lawyer stuff again. So let me guys tell you about collaborations. That's the reason why I wanted to make this video, is because I see a lot of people collaborating, which is a good thing. Matter of fact, I advocate for a collaboration when it comes to sync licensing, or when it just comes to making music in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a music producer. I came up, like I told you guys, I came up in a community with a bunch of music producers and creatives and stuff like that. So it's always good to be able to bump ideas off each other. Like, I really feel like you get doper music when you do that a lot of the time when you collaborate. But that's the creative side I'm talking about. We need to discuss the business side of things, because it's all good when you're trying to make something dope together. Like, okay, that's what collaboration is for. But you're also trying to make some money together. And the second you try to make $1 with your music, it becomes business. So you have to handle your business accordingly. Now, fortunately for you, this is the sync licensing industry. And I say that because it's based on transparency and fairness, right? Which means that 99.9% of the time, every time you see splits come through on a sync collaboration, all the splits are even. If it's two people, it's 50-50. If it's three people, it's 33.33. One person is 33.34. That one little hundredth of a percentage or whatever it is, not going to make a difference. Don't trip on that. What I'm seeing in my experiences with this company is that it's almost better sometimes to try to work with someone who hasn't had any experience with the music industry side of things, because I guess they're more trusting, they're more open, and they don't have an automatic suspicious nature. And we find that a lot of the people that are on the industry side that are really they're either rocking with the record labels or trying to work in that system, they're super suspicious. They think every time something goes wrong, or there's a discrepancy with something, that somebody's trying to steal from them, take their rights, take their publishing away from them, or take something. Like, and I understand that to a certain extent, because unfortunately that's the industry side. Sometimes, like, the industry gets nasty at times, and we know that. We've heard story after story of these artists that get signed, TLC, they world tours, not getting no money. I get it. I don't mean to digress, but I get it. You guys are suspicious and this and that, but this is the sync industry, right? So I'm not saying that just because it's known for being fair and transparent and this and that you should just trust it. I'm saying that the dynamic is different. I was working with some people back in the day. I have a lot of experience on the industry side, by the way. Like, I was in there like that, so, like, I'll tell you some stories later on about that. But one thing in particular that stands out is I was having a conversation with someone some years back, and they were pitching beats for me, right? And they weren't having a lot of success with that. And I inquired, like, so when you go to these sessions, like, how does it work out? Do you guys actually talk about splits, or maybe you guys should talk about splits so you know who gets what in these sessions or whatever. And anyway, and this is an industry session. These are industry folks, like all the way, away from sync. They're not tripping on sync at all, right? And I was told that it's basically the kiss of death when you go into a session and you start talking about splits and talking about that kind of stuff. Like, they automatically don't want to work with you. They're suspicious of you and that kind of thing. And it's so crazy to me. It's like, it makes perfect sense to me to sit down before you put your lips on a microphone or put your hands on a keyboard or whatever, and you figure out who gets what. Like, it's not, because on the industry side, it's crazy. Like, you can have people write a song. You could have, like, so you could get signed into the industry, right? Get signed to Atlantic Records, right? And you're a singer-songwriter. So up until that point, you're an indie artist. You're singing all your music. You're writing all your own songs. You might even be producing your own stuff, right? And you're thinking that this is going to be how it is when you get signed. Look at Dua Lipa. She was like that. She came in the industry. She was a singer-songwriter. She was doing her own thing. The label was like, yada, yada, yada. Now, if you look at her writer's credits on her albums, it's a mile long because the label has an agenda all the time. They have people that they want to get on these projects once they get funded. They got people in their camps and this and that, writers and stuff. So it is to the point where if you're doing a label session and somebody comes in there and they go on your track, and they happen to keep even the reverb from that shit, like, they're going to get writer's credits on your album. Sync ain't like that, right? And that's one of the reasons why I really gravitated towards this side of the fence, because it is, hold on, let me get this out the way, reflecting on me. It is so transparent, and it's fair. The splits are fair, right? So let me go, into what I'm saying to this situation that I woke up to. So needless to say, like, I'm looking at the email and I'm like, damn, man, here we go. Another situation where somebody's threatening legal action. Okay, so first of all, I get it. You guys are upset. Something is wrong. You don't know what's going on. It seems like there's some nefarious activities or whatever. Take your time, be calm, and find out what's going on before you start threatening. Because look, I'm going to tell you straight up. You guys are musicians. I'm not saying that you won't do it. I'm saying, but 9 times out of 10, y'all bluffing, right? I got a whole company and I'm not trying to go pay no lawyer $250 an hour to fight you over some sync license and stuff. So I know that you guys out there struggling musicians and stuff ain't gonna do that. These lawyers aren't gonna take your case like it's an automatic win. And I'm just gonna tell you, our business is ironclad. So like, you guys are usually in the wrong in the first place. If you look at the agreements spell it out. So this is what I'm telling you guys. When you get your agreements from these companies, read them. If you do have an attorney, which I hope you really do and you're not bluffing, have your attorneys go through these agreements and go through it point by point. If you don't, just to give you guys a little bit of game, just to be saying something, I would copy and paste the agreement and put it in the ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, look, rewrite this agreement for me so a 5th grader could understand it. And it's going to boop, 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 spit it out, bullet point what you wanted to bullet point. But the thing is to stop signing stuff from companies and then trying to renege on what you signed, right? So the person that wrote the email was talking about take my music out, right? We literally had to take the music out because the person that signed with us, who they were collabing with, didn't have an agreement with them, right? So there's no rights, there's nothing. So let me tell you what's so wrong with that, right? We're a sync company. Our job as a sync agent is to establish a working relationship between you guys and our clients. And our clients could be anybody. I'm not going to run it down, but it could be anybody, right? The only way for us to be able to do that is to be able to continuously run your music by them, right? Which means you got to be providing music on a constant basis. You got to be communicating on a constant basis, right? It don't matter if you're not getting the projects, if you're not landing the projects at first. You guys, we always preach that this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So pitch the music. It's non-exclusive anyway, so you could pitch the same music somewhere else, and just be patient and wait. We're trying to let these people know that you're going to be in it from the long haul. See, the thing of it is, one of the reasons why I was able to be successful over the years is because I was able to put myself in my clients' shoes. Therefore, I was able to adjust the way that I serviced them in a way that was best beneficial for them and not for me, right? So, this comes with, studying who your clients are, yada, 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 yada. But I don't mean to get off track. I'm digressing again. You can see I'm passionate about this, and I don't want y'all to mess up. So we're going to go back to the agreements. Read the agreements. Don't renege on the agreements. Usually a non-exclusive agreement is 3 years. An exclusive agreement is 5 years. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what happens when you request to pull that music from a company. They can't do it. Once we accept the music and we're all, like our deal with our guy in our contract, it says we have 3 years to pitch this music, right? So that's what it is. You're in this, whatever it is you deciding to do, you're doing it with us for 3 years, right? And, there are situations where you could pull out, renege, but like emergency situations or whatever, but they never come up because people usually abide by the agreements that they sign, right? Once we get the music into the company, we're pitching it out, right? So by the time, you come around talking about you want to take the music out of the catalog or out of the company or whatever, we could have up-team clients, from ad agencies to sports affiliates to libraries to music supervisors to, on and on and on, checking your music out, possibly getting ready to put your music into something, playlisting your music, sending it around their office or whatever. It just depends on the company that it is. But the thing is that once we get it, we're pushing it in most cases. And so you can't take it out. That's the reason why we keep it for 3 years at least, is because it takes time for us to get the music out there. It takes time to circulate the music around. This cat keeps jumping around. And you got to give them time to do what they need to do with it, right? You got to understand something, man. I know there's a lot of stuff online about sync licensing. People might tend to make it look easy, but you got to understand what you're trying to do. Come on, cat. It's just as difficult to get music on television as it is to put yourself on television. So just imagine you guys living where you are in your cities and your towns or whatever, and you decide, I want to be an actor. All of the steps that you would have to take in order to be able to do that, right? Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult to do. It's not as difficult as acting out and putting a little bit of extra sauce on there, But I'm just saying, like, you're getting your music on television. It is a huge feat to get that done, let alone getting your music in a commercial or something like that. So pay attention to the business side, man. It's not just about you sending your beats to somebody and them throwing some stuff on Love and Hip Hop and you getting a check. You got to respect the game. Fortunately, in the situation that I told you guys about, we were able to get that done. The person was ASCAP. So, with ASCAP, they're a lot easier than BMI as far as being able to take the titles out and this and that. And the person's titles that we had, we still had them. They hadn't been pitched yet, so we didn't have to pull them back, which is dope. It was a rare situation because usually we pitch out the stuff as fast as we can get it out. But we don't just randomly pitch. We usually pitch to people that we know want the kind of stuff that we're pitching. That way we have higher success or whatever. But yeah, so I know I skipped around a little bit, but like I said, I'm not feeling well today. I'm kind of in pain right now, so you guys just bear with me. And this cat is over here tripping. But going back to what I was saying once more, these agreements, man, make sure you read the agreements and you abide by the agreements. Non-exclusive agreement is 3 years. Okay, sometimes it's more than that, but it's usually 3 years long. Non-exclusive means that they have the right to pitch the titles that you send them. You have the right to also pitch those songs. 9 times out of 10 in a non-exclusive agreement, the company is going to retitle those songs into a very similar title, a close title to the original title. That way they can register the new title with them in the chain so they can get compensated their, what they get, usually the publishing side, and then you get your writer side. Those of you guys on the industry side, when we say publishing, don't get scared like people, oh, you can't have my publishing. A lot of people don't understand how this works in sync. Sync licensing is structured 50-50. And they say 50-50 because the people that are taking the music in and pitching it out and getting it done, they're the publishers. They're getting the music published. So they collect on the publisher side just for those titles, just for those placements, right? It's not like they get your publishing like at a record label. When they get your publishing, they get it for your music, for whatever your music does, for the forever type stuff or whatever. This sync don't do that. The publisher gets their publisher share for that particular placement. So if it plays one time on Love and Hip Hop and plays for 12 seconds, they get the publishing credit money for that. The reason why they call it a 50-50 deal is because the publisher side pays the exact same money as the writer side. So you get 100% of your writer side. If you were by yourself, the publisher gets 100% of the publisher side. They'll put that in the registration chain. That way, with your original title, if you was already rocking with the original title on Spotify and you already got your stuff registered in your chain, and you don't want no disruption to that. Of course, you can't have any disruption to that. You cool. Everybody knows that. But your sync title is behind the scenes getting placements, TV shows, commercial, and this and that. And when you promote the placement, you can promote the original title to your social media camp if you want to. You don't got to promote the alternative title because that's just for the sync registrations and stuff. That's just so the publisher can register and be part of the chain. But your song is the song that got placed. So when you get on social media and say, I got a placement, and you want to drive people to your streaming platforms to hear your song, just tell them, your song did it, got the placement. And then, you're doing your thing, right? But please don't make anybody wake up to no crap like I woke up to today. If you guys are doing collaborations, right? We coming to the end of this. It's about 20 minutes. So I talked about agreements. We're going to talk about collaborations. If you guys are out there and you want to collaborate with someone, the second you reach out to them and they say, yeah, let's do some stuff, your next thing to say to them is like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and email you this split sheet and we can get this done. That way, everything you do from that moment on, your business is handled. Everybody know what they get. It don't matter where you pitch the stuff, right? Every legit entity, sync entity that takes your music, they're going to want to know what the splits are. You got to do that you got to let them know what the splits are. I was going to say on the metadata. Some companies want it in the metadata. This cat, man, is off the chain. This is T'Challa, y'all. It was a kitten like 10 minutes ago. They'll say on the registration chain. But yeah, man, you just make sure that you get your business handled in the first place. That way you don't have any hiccups, because I'll tell you, I've seen some nightmares, man. This was just a mild-mannered situation where they hit the email up. I've had situations where they bypassed Smash Coast altogether and went to call the network, called Viacom or called MTV or VH1 or something, talking about, hey, I heard my music on your TV show. You need to take it off. I'm gonna tell you, if you guys are rocking with, networks like that, and the network gets a call from somebody saying that there's some crap going on, you're done. They're not going to rock with you no more. Your credibility is shot. Fortunately for me, I was able to dance around that because I had my paperwork in order. It was a situation where it was somebody that was not signed with us. So when they were out there threatening and tripping or whatever, I could say, hey, they aren't signed to Smash Coast. This is one of my guys' collaborators. They made a mistake. Let me make sure I educate them correctly and this and that. So from that point on, I've been telling my people, get your paperwork in order, to the point where if you bring up splits with somebody at the beginning and they're not with it, don't work with them, because chances are down the road something is going to happen crazy, right? Especially in sync, since the fact that splits are usually 50-50, so they fair as hell. When you start getting those egomaniacs and those narcissists talking about, well, I'm the one that did this, and I'm the one that's my voice, and this and that. Well, I played the keyboards and this and that. Tell them to go find a window, crack that mug open so they fit through it, and then leap out of that mug, and tell them to keep leaping, and hope they don't, I could go on and on, but don't rock with people like that, man. Sync is too straightforward, and it's too cool an industry to be rocking with people that don't get it, that won't take the time to educate themselves about what this is, you know, treating it half-assed and all of that kind of stuff, man. Like, you know, you could have a lot of success in this industry. The biggest difference between putting yourself on screen and putting this music on screen is that Hollywood is not looking for, you know, 100, 150, 200 more actors per episode of a TV show. You know, what do I mean? I mean, on a cue sheet, if you look at a cue sheet from your average reality show, your average Black Ink Crew, your average Love and Hip Hop, your average Basketball Wives, your average Love, Real Housewives of something, 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 there's 100 to 200 or so cues on each episode. An episode of a reality TV show, a half-hour episode, is actually 22 minutes minus the commercials. So a cue sheet for an episode is 22 minutes of music, and it's broken down in, like, from the theme song and then all of the background cues, or, you know, in seconds, 12 seconds, 15 seconds, 25 seconds, this and that. And wait a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting a text. Yeah, on those cue sheets, man. So, I lost my train of thought, man. That's what happens when you're hurting. So, you know what I'm gonna? It's like, y'all don't understand. It's like, it feels like needles on my fingertips right now, and my palms are like tingling. It's almost like when your hands fall asleep, but like painful. You know what I'm saying? It really sucks, and it is distracting right now. So, you know, and I lied to y'all right now. It wasn't nobody texting me right now. I put my head down because I was trying to get through a little right now. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and get out of here. Look, handle your business on the front end. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Handle your business on the front end. Do your splits, right, on the front end. Don't work with anybody that's not trying to do the splits on the front end. And do your research. Like I was saying before I got distracted, the main difference between putting your face on TV and putting your music on TV is because these shows want a lot of music. There's always a lot of music needed for these TV shows. That was the point I was trying to make. So when you see stuff on social media, they're talking about sync is saturated, or you feel like, you know, it might be hard to get into. It's going to take time because you got to know what you're doing. It is an industry. It is a career path, whether it's part-time career path or full-time for you, whatever you can make out of it. But the fact of the matter is that there's a ton of need for new composers, new music producers, new recording artists, for advertising as well as TV. Video games always needs music. You know, even social media, micro licensing, YouTubers, podcasters, that kind of stuff. Corporate background music for training videos and stuff. So there's a ton of opportunity out there for the people that are willing to hustle for it. So don't ever let anybody tell you that sync is like, you know, it ain't the thing. It's one of the few industries where, you know, they're actually thirsting for your creative attributes. You know, they're thirsting for your music. So just stay the course. If you can hear that, it's windy as hell outside. Oh my goodness. We got the Santa Ana winds out here. Oh, I think I saw a little dust devil or something. Pacific Palisades is on fire right now. So, you know, prayers out to Pacific Palisades. California, we be going through it, man, but I'm not going to get in there. Let me get my ass out of here. I'm out. Talk to y'all later. I'm the Producer Whisperer. Peace.